Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the Granvia gear. Thank you Hannah Song for bringing this idea up, because without you I probably wouldn't have came out with this video. So I hope this helps you, and I hope this helps whoever is watching this. And with that being said, let's get to it. So yes, the armors and the weapons are still both worth it in this current day. Some of you might be like, but they don't give like the right magic defense compared to like the best armors in the game now. That's alright, because they have an ability that I will talk about later in this video that is exclusive to these armors, and it's pretty OP because it's only exclusive to these armors. That being said, you actually want to be careful when it comes to awakening, because there are materials that you can't really farm for, like the Granvia sword and shield crest. The legend medals, Mobius medals, and Colosseum medals are all items you can't obtain. You can obtain, but they're not farmable, so you can't obtain them during any time. They only pop out for certain events, and these certain events only appear around 1 to 5 months each time they come out. And when they do, they're going to be based on how strong you are. How much you're going to be getting is going to be based on how strong you are. So these are very scarce items, and you definitely don't want to play around with these items. So I definitely recommend being careful on what you upgrade / awaken, technically speaking. And yeah, so what would I do? If I were in your shoes, I would start off with the weapons. The weapons is something you can use in any scenario, because as you see right here, they offer a skill that's exclusive to them that helps with the magic attack and attack of like the weapons of your class. So like a mage that needs staffs, this increases the attack and magic attack of staffs right here. It gets upgraded for each time you awaken it. As you can see in the lance right here, it gets upgraded by 5% each time up to you are. So it's a 20% increase. But anyways, it increases the magic attack of lance and scythes. This is a lance, so pretty much they have a weapon for each class that increases the magic attack and attack of that class's weapons by a certain percentage. This is very good, because this will help out in any scenario, because pretty much in anything you do, whether it's player versus enemy or player versus player, you're going to need to deal damage to progress. You're going to need to deal damage to get through the mission, quest, adventure, whatever you're doing. Seriously, whatever you're doing, you're going to need damage. The more damage you have, the more better off you'll be. The higher the performance, the more likely you will be able to beat the monster in time. And sometimes time is very important when it comes to doing a mission or whatever you're doing, because sometimes they offer rewards exclusive to the time or the score you use because of your damage output. And with that being said, that's why I recommend the weapons first, because the weapons you can use in any scenario, and because you can use it in any scenario, you can grab stuff that you wouldn't be able to grab with the armors. The armors have an ability that really only works in Colosseum and guild battles and dual rooms, because that's the only place you can fight. Well, you could really find Unisons at all to use the ability. While these weapons increase damage, and damage can be useful in anything. So these will help out with your overall performance, so that way you can get that exclusive stuff, like maybe the stuff for the event right here, or maybe the Mobius, which I recommend, because the Mobius only comes out every once in a while, and you're definitely going to want the medals, including for awakening. You're also going to want the medals for awakening, because that's how you're going to be able to awaken both weapons and armor in here. As you can see right here, you can only do it as an SSR and a UR. But yeah, you're going to need Mobius medals once you hit to that tier, even with the weapons. So Mobius ordeal, so that way you can upgrade your monsters quickly with the orbs. Pretty much lots of stuff, so that way you can become stronger overall. And then as you're becoming stronger, you have a higher and higher chance of actually getting more of these crests, the sword and shield crests, more of the Colosseum, Mobius, and legend medals, so you can keep awakening, but you'll be able to awaken quicker because you're earning more, because you're getting stronger. So that's pretty much what I would recommend doing, is going for the weapon of your class that is a DPS, by the way. This won't work on clerics. The reason this won't work on clerics is, yes, you could go grab the cleric weapon, yes, you can max out on everything, but I don't recommend it, because clerics are not a DPS class. In fact, they're the only class in the game that actually doesn't really need to do DPS at all, because clerics are mainly based on healing, and because they're based on healing doesn't have much mechanics or formulas in the way that prevent it and scale it overall. There's only a few things, and those few things are exactly not needed to be really OP at all, thanks to our health scaling factor. Because of how our health works, a cleric only needs a certain amount of magic attack. It's somewhere like in the 100 to 200 Ks, but after you hit that threshold of magic attack, you don't need to go any farther as a cleric. You really don't. Like, you could start working on defense, magic defense, or work on a DPS class, because as a cleric, you need to understand you're depending on other people around you to actually do the damage for you, so that way you can progress in the mission, because you're not going to be able to progress once again without doing damage. So you're relying on other people, and that's probably not the best idea, especially for a lot of stuff that people don't really do. Like, you might just be wanting to do a casual run on something and you're not able to complete it because you have nobody to do it with. So you're going to want a DPS class as a backup, a plan B, or a secondary. When it comes to that, I would recommend the archer or the mage, but really anything you want. So definitely work on that. Start off with your weapons, upgrade them, and upgrade them, and pretty much make them stronger. And yes, these are strong weapons. These are really strong weapons. You definitely want to work on these. These are OP, and these will last for a long time. Even in this day, even in this current age, the guild you see up top, all these people that you see are like the strongest of the strongest, like the Zero Guild, I can't say some of the names, Kangaroo, Simplicity, all these guilds have these weapons, the weapon of their class that fits under the Granvia set in their slots, in their inventory, in their gear set, or their weapon set, or whatever you want to call it, pretty much. If you don't believe how OP this is, let me show you how OP this is. Okay, so I'm going to go to my archer real quick, right? As you can see, my archer is 513k. 513k. We got the bow right here. It's a 25 cost bow. As you can see what stats it gives for both attack and magic attack. 513k. You paying attention? 513k. Okay, so I go to my 31 cost ultra rare bow over here. You can see it clearly gives a lot more. I attach it. I go to 510k now. I was at 513k, but now I dropped to 510k. That's right. At SR, not even at ultra rare. You can not infuse these, but awaken these to ultra rare. It gives more gear score than the 31 cost ultra rare. So this is a really insane weapon. Seriously, as you can see right there, just at super rare, it's really insane weapon. So I showed you proof that people actually use this stuff like late end game, like the best of the best, and how OP this can actually be, because just at an SR it gives that much, which is ridiculous. It upgrades to SSR after SR, and then you can upgrade it to UR. It's going to be at cost 35, but you can awaken it again to cost 36 as an ultra rare, and that's around the max right now you can upgrade it. Maybe they're going to update that in the future, but that's the max right now you can upgrade it. And yeah, like I said, it's really strong, so work on that first. That way you can work on anything you need to, because you'll become stronger, you'll get enough material, so that way you can do like all these other events that come out every once in a while that require you to have that strength to get more of these materials. So that way you could start working on either A, another weapon of your choice, or B, the armors. And I would probably start working on the armors, because you're going to want to work on getting Colosseum and guild battle balance with your overall weapon, because you're already set on your weapon, you're already set on your DPS class. Unless you really need to change your DPS class, I wouldn't recommend going for a second weapon. I wouldn't recommend awakening a second weapon. I would work on the armor instead, because it offers an ability that only works with like, this is 1 out of the 5 ways you can actually decrease Unison damage, and only 1 out of the 4 ways that actually work throughout the whole mission, battle, quest, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there's 5 ways, and out of those 5 ways, one of those ways only works for a certain amount of time during the whole battle. So definitely when you're looking at like those guilds, like those end game guilds, like Zero and all that stuff, right? And you're looking at like the monsters they use, and you're sitting there like, those monsters would one-shot our guild almost instantly. There's no way these people would survive. You watch them, and they pretty much survive the assault, and you're like, how do they do it? These armors are one of the ways. Not the only way, absolutely not the only way, but one of the ways that they're able to survive these Unison hits. So you definitely want to work on these if you can. You definitely want to get the ones that you can get awakened as soon as you can. I definitely work on the weapon first, then you can work on this, because when you're done with the weapon, you'll be able to you're stronger, so you're able to get more of the materials, so that way you can awaken the armor quicker. But as you look at the bottom, it says the effect only activates when you're a certain class. That's right. It only works for the regular classes. It doesn't work for the extra class. So if you're really focusing on the extra classes and you barely use the regular classes at all, this armor is not going to really help. If you're an extra class person and you're not really regular class anymore, then that's when I would work on a second weapon after you're done with your first one. But if you work on not an extra class, but a normal class, it's like your first or your second best class, I definitely work on the armors, because these armors are going to help overall. Seriously, they really will in the long run. They might not help right away because there's some scaling that has to be done on top of the skill, but overall, if you get to that point, these armors are probably going to help out. I wouldn't say like by a dramatic amount, but you're going to notice they're going to help out. And with that being said, I hope this helped out, and I will see you in the next video. This is the AzureWrath. I'm out. Peace.